My surname is Sergei Strunnikov. Let me introduce myself. I am commander of the anti-submarine missile start battery of this ship.
Моя фамилия.
My name is Luzhitsky, Yuri Yurovich. I am a lieutenant commander.
Comrades of the Black Sea Fleet, Russia's oldest naval force. Founded by Peter the Great in the 17th century, it lay at the heart of the Red Navy throughout the Second and Cold Wars. But today, although they share the same basic uniforms, the same traditions, and even the same port, they're now on different sides. In June this year, President Yeltsin and Ukraine's President Kravchuk agreed to split the fleet equally between the two republics by 1995. The decision was met with widespread protests and threats of mutiny from the fleet's officers. Sergei Strunikov and Yuri Luzhitsky are among 80,000 Black Sea sailors now forced to choose between the Russian and Ukrainian navies.
We can divide ships, but how can we divide all the core structure of the fleet? How we can divide people is the greatest problem.
But Yuri had no problem choosing between loyalty to his native Ukraine and allegiance to what he saw as a corrupt and demoralized Russian navy.
Это было 17 февраля.
When the commanders learned that I wanted to join the Ukrainian fleet, within a single day, I was put on a trumped-up charge and by 5 p.m. imprisoned in the garrison guardhouse.
Yuri was discharged from the Russian Navy and recruited onto the Ukrainian vessel Slavutich. With the country in economic crisis, the ship is only one of 5 in the entire Ukrainian fleet. Sergei serves on the Russian-guided missile frigate Razitelny. Armed with anti-submarine missiles, surface-to-air missiles and torpedoes, it is one of around 300 ships in the fleet which remain under Russian control.
Nobody from our ship decided to join the Ukrainian Navy. They prefer to serve on Russian Navy. First of all, the ships of our Navy go to sea rather often. For example, 2 weeks ago, our vessels have returned from the Mediterranean Sea, and Ukrainian vessels are moored on the berths and stay there.
Подсчет давай.
But Yuri is aware that most of Russia's fleet is around 30 years old and many ships could soon be scrapped.
Хотелось бы еще отметить, что
I'd like to point out that this is a new ship with a new crew and new people. People from all sorts of backgrounds, though they were picked because they are reliable. They are dedicated to their job.
как раньше было. Украина, она морская.
Ukraine is a maritime nation, and I believe it should have its own fleet and its own naval forces.
Военно-морской флот. Свои военно-морские силы.
But the problems of the Black Sea Fleet extend far beyond the upper decks to the port itself, to Sebastopol, a closed city whose inhabitants are 3/4 Russian.
As for Sebastopol, it was never a Ukrainian city. I think that this is the Russian city. It's the city of Russian history, of Russian glory. Thousands of Russian people died defending Sebastopol. It belonged to Moscow, only to Moscow. And now there is no Soviet Union. And I think Sebastopol belongs to Russia now.
And in Moscow last month, Hasbulatov's parliament shocked the Ukraine by voting to reclaim Sebastopol and bring the entire Black Sea Fleet under Russian control.
Если будет
If the Russian parliament insists on sticking to its declaration, then I think that this will lead to a deterioration in relations between Russia and Ukraine.
взаимоотношения
It's the
между
path to direct confrontation.
Это ведет к прямой конфронтации.
I'm not ready to fight with the Ukrainian fleet, and it's impossible. Firstly, they have no fleet. Secondly, Ukrainian and Russian officers studied in the same colleges, served at the same fleet. Many of them were friends, so we don't want to have a civil war. We had one in 1917, and I hope that there'll be no more civil wars.
While Sergei may have little to fear from the five-strong Ukrainian fleet, he and the rest of the world would be foolish to ignore nearly 2,000 nuclear warheads on Ukrainian soil. Ukraine is taking control of the weapons away from Moscow and has refused to ratify the START I and non-proliferation arms control treaties until Yeltsin provides promised security guarantees. This battle for the Black Sea Fleet has come to symbolize all the outstanding tensions between the two old Soviet neighbors, Russia and Ukraine. If this deadlock is not resolved, the implications for Europe and the world are serious. And comrades Sergei and Yuri may soon be doing radically more than simply staring at each other from opposite sides of the quay.